15th, Monday, 2024. And we're going to have network problems here, I can see. Hi, sure. Well, hello, Patriots. I hope we're broadcasting okay here because it's not looking good on my end. There we go. Jump back up a little bit. Today is January 15th, Monday, 2024. Day 1104 since our constitutional rights have begun to be trampled on. We're going to be talking about J6 news updates and chat. And VIVEK, little info came out on VIVEK, man, where it's appearing that VIVEK is a New World Order Trojan horse. And we're covering Vigil's number 530 and 531. I didn't get to do a broadcast yesterday. Got busy with things. Sunday evening, I think everybody was looking to chill out for a little while. But we're here at a beautiful house. This is called the Rockford Plantation. And it's a Revolutionary War era house. This guy was buds with the likes of George Washington, Ben Franklin. It's a beautiful house. It's in working order. Has a beautiful garden here. And I think we're going to get away with it over here. I wanted to show you that herd of deer that's like right over there, but well, let's see. There they are. But it looks like every time I point the camera this direction, the network gets bad. How are you doing, Sylvia? I hope you're staying warm over there. It's cold. Happens every year. They got the weather machines out trying to freeze Iowa out. Maybe they can win that way, huh? Kind of outrageous, though. And we got some snow coming down. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Hello, Valerie Lund. Hi, Crying in the Dark, Sherry Thomas. Wild One, USA. Good to see you all here. Thanks. Good spot here for, there we go. Let's just take a walk around here and see where we're getting some good transmission. Maybe there's a good spot here. Bouncing up and down here. There we go, diving back down. Goes up and down. Well, I don't know. Man, transmission to the network is horrible here. I didn't think it would be this bad. Trying to find good network, so I'm go. It was awesome. We're getting word that Scooter is not with the pod. We're getting word that, and this appears to be some type of shenanigans that the prison's pulling on them now. They've taken them to some other spot in the policies. They are not, because they have demonized these guys so bad that the other inmates might try to harm them, is what the prison themselves says about this. So I don't know, man. We have a call for action here, but today's Martin Luther King Day, so they're not in their offices. I tried calling today. I'll give those numbers out here shortly. Pray for some network here, Patriots. It's just looking like this isn't even coming through to you guys. It's just bouncing up and down here. There it goes, it's back out. Taylor Jonatakis was talking about the book Atlas Shrugged from Ayn Rand. That's a cool book to read. And it's cool, man. These guys are always reading cool books, and I like to hear. And I got all into Ayn Rand for a while there. She wrote the book called Anthem, and that was what the rock band Rush made an album from that called 2112. That whole album is based on the book Anthem by Ayn Rand, in case you didn't know. Oh, so VIVEK is fudging his nomination papers. Yeah, okay. There is a smooth is. He's a New World Order puppet, man. Taylor John Atakis was also talking about the word games associated with it, such as like a magistrate is a magician, and there's all kinds of these weird word analogies. And it goes back to biblical days, I believe, sorcery and stuff like that. That's why you have a birth certificate. That's why there's all kinds of these tidbits of information about why certain things are the way they are. And it's not going, it doesn't go well for us when we get into a court of law. That's why we need a representative, a representation person when we go to court. We can't talk for ourselves. They don't even want to hear us. They shut you down when you try to speak for yourselves in a court case. Basically, if we're content to obey, I thought on Saturday, so they failed to court. Tried basing it, stepping up to help, and nice American. I mean, we got a border patrol down there. We fund it with the border, and it crashes the system. It makes it implode. Basically, it's imploding. Terrorist. He's got court Friday the 19th. Hasn't seen his attorney in a month, and he wants us to pray for a continuance. Then we got Tammy. His lawyer is called, or Brian Jackson's lawyer is named John Mucato, and his clients would like to hear from him right now. These lawyers are just blowing these guys off. They're making dozens of phone calls all the time, and they're not returning their calls at all, which is not cool. No. We'll just keep trying here, Patriots. We'll just keep trying. The network is bouncing real bad here. And it might be the weather. It might be impossible to do this today. I don't know. Okay, and then on Saturday, we also heard from Billy Cressman. He got recently sentenced to 55 months in prison. And sometime, when you add up the time served that he got already, he should be out into a halfway house sometime in the first week of July. He got time served, plus he got good time, plus he's been taking the program so that he can get a reduced time off of his sentence. He's originally from Southern California, but he's lived in Kansas City since 2004, and he's looking to get home. Billy Cressman, man, we love you, bud. You stood for us on January 6th, man. You're a hero in our eyes. And then Jeff Sable got on the phone, and they did the national anthem Saturday night, and it was a great conversation, man. And I think Daniel Ball got in on the conversation with him too that night. And man, they were going off, calling this a kingdom of bullshit. They were talking about the quartering of soldiers, which is specifically said in the Constitution that you will not be it is not your responsibility to quarter soldiers in your house. Yet that is exactly what they're doing with these immigrants right now. They're quartering them in public buildings, in hotels, in schools, in parks, all over the country right now. And that is not constitutional whatsoever, man. So that's exactly what they're doing. And then there are, like, I've seen ads out there now where they want people to put the illegals in their house and let them live there. And that's specifically outlawed, man. It's specifically outlawed. What is that? Cops savagely club J6 protesters' head with metal batons. And it's 100% against the law. All right, so did somebody get hurt there in the prison? I'm going to have to read that article. I haven't seen that one yet, Sylvia. Unbelievable what they're doing, man. But I don't know if you heard me down there. Brian Jackson, Andrew Taki, and Isaac Thomas are not in the pod right now, and it's not looking good. All right, so if I got transmission now, let me give you these phone numbers here. Warden Kelly, Warden at the DC Gulag. Her phone number is 202-523-7010. I called her today, and she was not in her office because it's a holiday, no doubt. And another number is Deputy Marshal Brown. His phone number is 202-772-0301. And these three J6ers have been put into punitive punishment, is how they worded it. They are supposed to let these guys know that what charges that they were put into punitive for, and there's been no explanation why the three of them have been removed from the pod. And of course, DC Gulag policy is to not mix inmates up with other gang members and stuff. And since the whole population of DC feels that they're victims of J6, they can't just put J6ers in with general population there in that DC Gulag, because according to their policies, their own policies, you're not supposed to mix guys up like that. So we can make phone calls out there. Let me know if them phone numbers didn't come through, and I'll read them off again, man. Coffee and calls first thing in the morning. Okay, Annette Park, another person you can call. Call your representatives tomorrow. Let them know that what's going on in the DC Gulag, that they're not even following their own policies. Call your federal representatives, the ones that are responsible for federal things that are in DC there, and tell them that these guys are not following their own policy. They're not giving explanations to the guys why they're moving them around. And then call your federal representatives again and tell them that Michael Byrd's radio transmissions are out all over social media right now, and that Michael Byrd was reporting shots fired on his police radio before he even shot Ashley Babbitt. And that's a great way to incite it's a way to incite fear into people. When you hear, if you're a cop and you hear another cop saying shots fired, that means heads up, man. You're walking into gunfire. And that's exactly what Michael Byrd did over the police radio before and after he shot Ashley Babbitt. And those recordings are out all over social media right now. So if your representatives are not aware of that, make them aware of that. And tell them to get on the ball with this J6 thing. Because there's so much information out there. Tell your representative that there's a judge in D.C. right now that's sentencing J6ers to excessive prison sentences that thinks cops were murdered on J6. Tell your representatives that these judges are delusional. I mean, that's the whole thing. They're trying to keep misinformation from happening. But here we got judges that think cops were killed on J6, which is a total lie. Total lie. Total misinformation. Better the further up this hill I get. And 202-523 7010 772 0301. All right, good. You got the numbers, silly. Right on. Let's get into this coffee and calls again, folks. I think let's not give them any no reprieve, man. Let's get back on our representatives. I think they've had a break now. We got sick and tired of calling these guys. But, man, they are delusional if they still think that election was not rigged, and if they still think that these J6ers are supposed to be getting sentences of deterrence and felony enhancements on all their charges. It's totally ridiculous that this is going on, and our representatives are in charge of those courts in D.C. I'm totally sick of the Democrats, too, their Pathfinder. They anger me to no end. That these people can be so detached from facts that they can, that they govern us, you know? It's ridiculous. All right, let's try over here. Silly as the bomb, that's right. All right, Priscilla, let's get the phone call army going again. Patriots, right on. I love it, love it. So there you got 4 different phone calls to make tomorrow. And if you got a senator that won't hang the phone up on you, call your senators too. The only guys we got to hope for in Pennsylvania is our House of Representatives guys. And our senators are totally worthless. One of them's John Fetterman, and the other one is, just a flaming Democrat. Hasn't done a damn thing. He's been in there for 2 terms. Worthless. Totally worthless. Okay, so let's go over Sunday night now, too. We got a call from Reed Christensen. Darn it, man. All right, found a spot. I got a spot. Ferg, it's probably bouncing up and down. It's probably shutting off. It might come back on now because I never shut it down over here. So the stream might be salvageable here at this time. Freedom Corner Sunday night, last night. Reed Christensen called in and was talking to us how his trial, the judge used a Nathan Hale quote to magnify his sentence. Nathan Hale was a writer back in the Revolutionary times, and he's best known for saying, "I regret that I only have one life to live, or one life to give for my country." And they hung him. And I think Reed Christensen kind of quoted that while he was in the court, and the judge used that against him. Now, either this judge doesn't know who Nathan Hale is, which is unacceptable for a judge. You got to know your American history if you're an American judge, would you not? But then to use that statement against somebody is just ludicrous. It's lunacy. Maybe that could be another thing to call your senators about, you know? I mean, it's crazy, man. Yeah, let's go Germany. All right, so Germany's doing hellish protests out there, man. They got all the farmers are out with their tractors. They got families marching down the street with their children and their little toy tractors. They're making noise. They're blowing whistles. They're blowing horns. They're banging pots and pans together and making a ruckus, as they should be, because they don't like the Communist Party. That's the same thing here. The one party in Germany that wants to install communism in their country. It's what we got to do as people if this is what we see. And they're trying to actually make, I believe, they're trying to illegalize the other party because they're not enforcing their constitution in Germany. So this is some really cool stuff to be watching over there. Find a German live streamer to get the scoop, because you're not going to see it on CNN or MSNBC or anything. It just ain't happening. And praise the Lord, I found a hot spot. Okay, somehow or another, this one spot out of this whole spot is working, man. That's right, Possum. Go farmers. Go farmers. That, Robin, there is tons of evidence, not just voter fraud evidence, but government evidence. The 51 spooks that wrote that letter and said the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation, those were 51 paid, past government employees of high levels that lied to the American public. That's bad information. They knew they were lying when they made that. So we're not talking just about voter fraud or ballot fraud or voter rolls. I mean, they did it with a million different ways. And really, that election was only down to a couple tens of thousands of votes. And it was a fraud. 2020 was rigged. We've known it for a long time. It hasn't been kicked out of court 60 times. All that's misinformation, all right? So we know that election was rigged, and we're not dropping that fact right now. We are not dropping that fact. We are sure that election was a fraud. There you go. KA, Michigan has had evidence of fraud. It's on the video. Wisconsin has had court cases that said fraud. In Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania changed election laws. They are not entitled to do that by any state statute, any state commonwealth constitution that we have. They are not allowed to change law, and that's what they did here. And then they held a hearing after the election and said, okay, yeah, you're right. We weren't allowed to do that. But COVID, they did it because of COVID. And we won't ever do it again, they said. But they didn't throw themselves in jail for breaking the law. They just they investigated themselves and found that they had to do what they had to do because of COVID. All right. So now you understand why COVID's coming out. Now look into COVID. All right. COVID wasn't anything what they said it was. It was a farce, man. More people died from the COVID measures that were instituted than the COVID itself. The flu death rate went down to practically zero during COVID. So we just got to be up on the information that's coming out, and it's not just trickling out right now. It is gushing out. It is all over the place. And you'll see now that your mainstream media is not keeping anybody informed, man. Yeah, Priscilla, I saw there was a rally down in Virginia, Second Amendment rally. And yeah, guess who shows up out there? Be a good day to go to D.C., wouldn't it? Yeah, Whitmer tried to change the law there. There's all kinds of shenanigans. Arizona, Georgia. Look at what's going on in Georgia right now. They're just making Rudy Giuliani pay two poll workers $149 million, and now they're finding out that he was right. So it's happening, Patriots. It's happening. We got to increase the pressure on our representatives now and either get them to resign or get with the program. Yeah, I was on New News to Share's chat there. That was really me, Priscilla. But you never know, man. They screw everything up, don't they? Right. Where did the 6 foot distancing thing come from? The masks. I mean, they told us to wear a mask, and we're all going, well, wait, how big is the molecule of COVID, and how big is the holes in the mask? None of it makes sense, patriots. None of it. And people are dying. A lot, millions and millions of people are dying. And there's doctors out there now with the studies, and they're using Pfizer's own records. You know, they're using government records to prove that all of this stuff was a dastardly thing to do to humanity, and they have to be held accountable. You can't get away with something like that. You cannot get away with the causing the death of 17 million people was the number I heard, and I reported on that in my last stream. I know. Well, we'll keep them wondering, Docs and Grandma. If they didn't make a fake Jericho, they'd know it was me then, right? So now how do they know if it's me saying anything, right? You should be able to say, you know, the fake Jericho ain't going to tell you about Jesus. And that's really the only reason I'm in there, is to tell people they need Jesus. All right, so Sunday night we heard from Reed Christensen. Reed also got to see Freedom Corner, he said, when they were transporting him back into the gulag there. He said, well, he was driving past there, and one of the other guys in the van said, that's Freedom Corner right there. We weren't there yet, but he got to see where we're standing between a cemetery and a prison on a dead-end road. And that's where we are as a nation right now, patriots. We're between the grave and tyranny. And it's a dead-end road. It doesn't go anywhere that way. We got to find our way out of this dead-end road that we're in and carry on. And it's up to us to do it. We can't sit around and wait for Trump to get into office and do this. This is where we the people got to rise up, just like they're doing in Spain, just like they're doing in Netherlands, just like they're doing in Poland, just like they're doing in Germany, just like they did in Argentina, just like they're doing in Brazil. It's happening over the whole world. And they're not telling you about it on our news, on MSM News right now, which is a crime in itself, man. The only people that are threatened by all this are the tyrants, the elites. And then we got to learn about where we're spending our money, okay? Because really, the World Economic Forum is taking over countries without having elections. They just take it over through corporate interests, okay? You got a company called BlackRock. They buy parts of companies, and then they can tell the companies what to do, and they'll put them out of business if they don't toe the line. Why do you think Nike had a Black Lives Matter poster that's 10 stories high on their headquarters? Because the World Economic Forum told them to do it, okay? That's why. And Black Lives Matter doesn't unite people, it splits people apart. So this is corporate interests. The New World Order is corporate interests, and that's all it is. So if you're buying Nike sneakers or shoes, you are funding your enemy, okay? This is where we got to learn. We got to learn, patriots, as our vote counts, but also where we spend our money counts, man. Okay, and then Reed Christensen, they asked him if he had a give, send, go, right? And he said, no, I don't. Reed had a farm that he sold and then moved his wife over near, I think his dad or something like that. And he said, no, I don't, give your money to the other patriots that need it worse than he does. Always thinking about other people. I mean, these patriots in the gulag are golden, man. But Reed Christensen wrote a book called Save the Kid, and it's a very short book. It's on Amazon. It's only like $11.95 or something. And he said, if you can, support me by buying that book. And that everyone who's read that book has said really good things about it. It's a very short read, and it is an analogy about America, okay? But he's using an analogy. Yeah, who is Nike? But yeah, we got to learn to spend our money wiser than we're doing it right now, because they're funding themselves through the money that we give them, basically. And the taxes that we pay all the time. Yeah, we saw it with our own eyes back in 2020 there, Rudd. Saw them running the ballots through. Saw them kicking out the watchers, the poll watchers, and then papering up the windows and everything, man. Hey, MAGA, how you doing? That's facts, man. Sorry if you can't accept it. That's the facts, man. So support Reed Christensen through buying the book, Save the Kid. It's a good book. It'll be a good one to have since it was written by a J6er. Then we got a call from Frank Quistino, who was livid on the fact that FJB got up and said he was marking 100 days of captivity for the captives in Gaza. Our president, who just threw over 1,200 patriots in jail for standing up for their First Amendment rights, is making a remark about these hostages that are in Hamas for 100 days. Our guys have been in jail for 1,000 days longer than that, and he hasn't said a word about that. This guy is disgusting. FJB, you are disgusting. Disgusting, man. Let's see. And Frank Quistino, he's another thinker, man. When he calls in, you're getting political theory, just great conversation, man. And these are the conversations that we got to have. We can't live in this world where we don't talk politics anymore. We got to learn how to talk. We got to learn how to unite. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I grew up in a family like that where we didn't talk about politics and religion. And that, to me, that's the dumbest thing in the world. That's my favorite things to talk about. And if you can't talk about it, you're weak. Learn to defend your position. Use your cerebral abilities and discuss things so we don't have to keep reliving through these mistakes that we make all the time with our governments and stuff here. All right, and then Chris Quaglin got on, and he gave out those phone numbers for Warden Kelly Vick and Deputy Marshal Brown. And Chris is funny, too. And he doesn't care anymore. I mean, he originally started with, I think, three felonies. And after plea deal, he rejected it. And every time they stacked another bunch of felonies on, he's looking at like 14 felonies now. And he's just laughing about it. He thinks it's outrageous, man. And I do, too. It's little temper tantrum things that the DOJ is doing to Chris Quaglin, and he could care less. He's like, oh, I'm going to do 14 or 19 years in prison. I don't care. I don't care at this point. So he's got, he says it like it is. He really doesn't care anymore, and he's the one guy we hear from all the time. I love it, man. I'll back you up, Chris Quaglin, any day of the week, man. You're just saying it how it is. And these guys have a lot of insight on what's going on inside these prisons right now. And that's another thing that's getting exposed with the whole J6 thing. Before this all happened, we didn't know that our prisons were this screwed up. But now we know, okay? And now we got to come together and fix this problem. So it's all happening. J6 and our patriots are the canvas that wickedness is painting itself on. Before, we couldn't see where the wickedness was. We couldn't see who the deceitful, evil tyrants were. But then since we reared our head up, they can show their anger, their hate on us, and it shows now. So we are the canvas that they're painting it on. They're painting their wickedness on for the world to see. They're seeing it on this channel. They're seeing it on Stormtrooper. They're seeing it at Freedom Corner. They're seeing it on Glory Be. They're seeing it on all these channels. Freedom Express Media, they're seeing it, man. And this ain't the only thing that's like that. We got 75-year-old grandmas sitting in jail for 11 years because they stood outside of an abortion clinic and prayed. We got a journalist that just got murdered in a Ukrainian prison after they tortured him for 8 months, and our president or State Department didn't say a damn thing about it. An American journalist just died in a Ukrainian prison. And FJB didn't even address it. And our State Department didn't do a thing because that's where they're sending their money. All they had to do was make a phone call, said, let that guy out or the money stops. And he would have been free, but they didn't even do that. They couldn't even pick up the phone to save a freedom of speech journalist from getting murdered in a Ukrainian prison. This is unspeakable horror that's going on with this administration. Unspeakable. And then we got this Anthony Weiner laptop thing coming out. And hopefully this is going to come out soon here now too. The Anthony Weiner laptop. Anthony Weiner was Huma Abedin's husband. Huma Abedin was Hillary Clinton's aide. You might remember her. She always followed Hillary around everywhere she went. She was Hillary's handler, is basically who she was. And they called this Anthony Weiner laptop the insurance policy. So what type of an insurance policy was it? Well, we don't know because the FBI won't tell us. It's another secret they're keeping from us. But they've had that laptop since 2016, and they haven't told us what's on it. And it seems to be the same type of an insurance policy that Epstein had in his safe inside of his houses all over the place. It's that kind of an insurance policy. It's how you keep people in line. You film them, you bribe them, you get them to do really horrible things, and then you blackmail them with that information. So the Anthony Weiner laptop is another one of these things. That's the insurance policy. FBI's got to show us what's on there so that we can tell if we're voting for a pedophile or not, or if we're voting for somebody who's corrupted by any other means, many, many other means of corruption that can be done, that people can do in order to get blackmailed. And we need to know what's on that. And ever since that laptop got discovered, word went out that the NYPD was the first people to have that in their possession. And the word got out that 12 police officers looked at what was on that computer. And 9 of those police officers have committed suicide since then. And I'm not even going to tell you what I think is on there. I've heard what's on there. I haven't seen it. If I could look it up, I wouldn't even watch it because it is so horrible. It is unspeakable horror what they say is on this laptop. And if that is what is on this laptop, these people got to hang like tomorrow, okay? If that's what they did, and it's true, these people do not deserve a happy ending. They do not deserve a happy ending. DeSantis blocks disabled parking at Iowa event. Minus 12 degrees outside, kicks out handyman. I heard about him kicking out the guy in the wheelchair. I don't get how he even thinks he's got a chance. But it is, enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show, I guess. I'd rather be watching another show. I'd rather be watching a happy show. But this is the show they give us. These are our elected officials. What a bunch of buffoons. And if we had valid oaths, they wouldn't be in office anymore. They would not be in office. All right, so far I found a sweet spot on the network, man. Praise God. Thank you for prayers, Patriots. This is working, man. All right. So yeah, VIVEK is a new world order Trojan horse. Okay. The scoop, I just got the whole scoop on VIVEK this morning. People are focusing on it now since he's kind of, been out there for a while. Now it's time to really take a good hard look at VIVEK. VIVEK had George Soros's brother pay for his college tuition. VIVEK is one of them he was on Wall Street, okay? VIVEK, while he was still in college, started a company that is worth $1 billion already. And he's associated with the pharmaceutical company. VIVEK's company is suing Pfizer for the patent rights to part of the death vaccine that they put out. So VIVEK is thoroughly entwined. Was very happy to see the whole world get mandated a vaccine shot that his company had a part in, you know. And now it turns out that he's suing Pfizer and he's out to get millions of dollars. Vivek is crooked as hell. He's a smooth talker. Yes, that's what we all said about Obama when Obama was out. But, I mean, enough's enough, Vivek, you know, and we don't even got to talk about him because he's not going to win the nomination. But there you have it with Vivek. What we got to watch is that the Democrats don't pick Vivek up and he flips over. And he doesn't believe in Jesus. I mean, there's my method of discernment, man. You want a way to know how to believe somebody when they're talking or not. And it's not 100% sure, because you'll see some people proclaiming Jesus, like Cat Williams and Snoop Dogg and stuff. But one method of discernment to know if somebody's word can be taken is, are they telling you about Jesus? Do they believe in Jesus? It's simple as that. Simple as that. And then we got this, dead voters' names discovered on Vivek Ramaswamy's nomination papers. So how does that happen? You know, who signed a dead guy's name on there? And is it really true? But it's from Gateway Pundit. I mean, Gateway Pundit has proven themselves reliable. Gateway Pundit and the Daily Mail are two valid, very good news sources they're not mainstream, they're up and coming, but they are viewer supported. They need our support to continue because they're not taking money from Nike. They're not taking money from Delta Airlines. They're not taking money from Pfizer, okay? They're out there reporting true journalism on the money that their viewers give them. So that's the future, okay? Instead of paying the cable company to bring bullshit news into your living room, we got to just cut the cable, let them wither on the vine out there, and get our news through the internet, through websites that we support. And I think that will be the way forward once this is all said and done. And it's going to be a beautiful world after that, all right? Because when you are telling the truth, other people are going to want to hear what you've got to say. Once they find out that you know how to report on things and how to investigate things, people are going to want to have you investigate and report on other things. So that's how it's going to work. That's a beautiful future. I hope our 250th anniversary in this country is going to be a beautiful thing. And I believe it will be with God's help. Okay, and then one more disgusting thing to turn your stomach before dinner tonight is now we're getting Sunday school lessons from Fani Willis, okay? Fani Willis, who just paid a divorce attorney to come and prosecute Trump for $700,000 and then took him out on cruises and stuff. Now we got Fani Lewis out there giving us morality lessons. And she's going like, black women aren't perfect. Black women should be allowed to stumble. And we need grace, and we're all sinners. Well, you got that right, Fani. You got that right. We're all sinners. I'll agree with you there. So now we got Fani Willis giving us Sunday school lessons from her corrupt prosecution of Donald Trump for insurrection. And at the same time, in the office down the hallway, they're finding out there was a rigged election in Georgia now. So it's just, the show just keeps going on. But it's going to be an enjoy the show moment down there in Georgia, that's for sure. Okay, here's more on Vivek, man. Vivek was a hedge fund manager. That's the word I was trying to think of. He did a startup company called Roivant 9 years ago, okay? It's worth millions and millions of dollars. This company never made a profit. Never made a profit, but he's got lots of investors. So how do you get investors if you don't make a profit, you know? That never worked for me, you know? But I guess it worked for VIVEK. So that's where he comes from, man. Okay, I got the scoop on a documentary about J6 called The Real Story of J6. And it was done by Epic Times, and it's out there free to watch for another couple of days or something like that. So if you do hashtag The Real Story of January 6th, of Jan 6, you'll be able to watch this documentary for free. And it's a good one. It's a very good one by Epic Times. It goes over many, many different aspects of J6. One of the best well-done ones I've seen out there. And then also, Jake Lang put together like a 36-minute or 40-minute documentary on J6. And that is also able to be viewed for free on j6truth.org. So if you haven't seen these before and you got time, go check them out. They're worth the view. They're presenting evidence that isn't normally run on mainstream media. Yeah, all right, here I saw this guy too, Frank Luntz, visibly squirms as he is forced to admit Trump is the favorite to win the 2024 election. And so it does seem like the Democrats are changing their strategy now. What they're trying to do is reduce the powers of the presidency before they leave office. I mean, they're kind of admitting to themselves that they're not going to win this election. So what they're going to try to do is try to reduce the commander-in-chief of the military's power before they leave the office. And I don't know if they're going to get away with this. They probably will, because our Republicans are going to act like they're against it, but then we'll have just the right amount to come in there and say, yeah, you're right, we should do that. And it is something that they want to do, so it'll get done real quick, real quick. Unlike stuff that we want to get done that takes months and years and many election hearings and committees and votes. If it's something we want, it takes forever. If it's something they want, they'll bust it through right away. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be more coffee and calls in the morning. Do not limit the president's powers as commander-in-chief of our military. What that means is that there is a civilian in charge of the military, and that the whole reason that it's there is so you cannot have a military-industrial complex within the government. If you take the president out of that whole equation, the military is in control of itself. And it's very important that we have a civilian president in charge of the military. And that's why it is the way it is right there. So, all right, Patriots, I think we got through it, man. Okay, if you haven't seen Cash Kelly yet, Cash Kelly was a J6er who recently got done with his sentence. He's in a halfway house now, getting ready to transition back into society, and he's allowed on social media. Cash Kelly now has a YouTube channel. He's got many other ones, but the only one I know of is his YouTube channel. Right before I went on live here today, he was going on a live stream, and they were talking about the Martin Luther King stuff. They had a panel, 3 guys on there. Cash Kelly was one of them. So if you can, subscribe to Cash Kelly. His first broadcast when he got into the halfway house was really excellent. It was about J6. It was about stuff he saw on J6. And, his second broadcast. Today's was his third, I think. But he's out there. He hit the ground running, Patriots. This guy's awesome. He believes in Jesus. He's an incredible guy. I remember him calling out to us on Freedom Corner and talking about God and Jesus and stuff. And he said, man, you just got to be positive. And he talks about the street light. You got to be a street light, man. If God gives you wisdom, you gotta shine it out there. And when he called us on Freedom Corner that one day, when he said, man, I woke up this morning and the sun was coming in the window and it looked beautiful. And I laid in bed as I realized I just had a really good night's rest. I slept well, didn't wake up once all night. That's Cash Kelly right there. He's always looking for the positive in things and always looking to improve our lot in life, man. And he gets his power from the Savior, from our King, Jesus Christ. So if you haven't, if you're new to Cash Kelly, check him out because he's worth it, man. The dude is amazing. What a great guy, man. I hope I get to meet you someday, Cash. He's into positivity, and his saying is, unite, don't fight, be a street light. His YouTube channel is called Cash Kelly. That's with a K, K-A-S-H, Kelly, K-E-L-Y. Cash Kelly, the street light. I love that about Cash too, Ridgeline. He is awesome, man. Here's the link. Thank you, Sylvia. There's Cash Kelly's YouTube channel right there. So, all right, praise the Lord. We got through it. I'll see you guys out at Freedom Corner tonight. I'll be in Sherry, Sapphire Patriots chat. I'm learning all kinds of mod stuff, moderator stuff, silly for him. And one of these days, I got to call you, man. I got to figure out how you type one up and save it and then get it back in there for later. Right now, I got to type every single one out, but I know how to pick a link off of YouTube and off of Rumble, and I think I can pick one off of Safari now, off the internet. I just did like 2 of them last night, so I'm digging it. I'm digging it, man. And mods, you got a lot of power. You are like the source of the actual information. I can blab on all I want over here, but till you guys put a link up there that the people in our chats see it and they can click on it, that's when they can go out and find the information for themselves. And Bonnie and Silly for him and Sunkist, I appreciate you guys for being mods for me, man, because this doesn't happen just on my own. It takes a team, and I think we got a good team together here, and together we will overcome. And McKenna, we got McKenna now in here too. And I think Sapphire Patriot's a mod too, but I haven't seen her in here for a while. And Carol Burton's in here too. She's a good mod too. And just saying hello to everybody in the chat and stuff, and making the chat a cool place to hang out without any bed bugs laying all over the place, you know? That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it cool. That's what makes us all happy, Patriots. All right, praise God. We found the good network. It took a while. Thanks for hanging with me through all of that. And we'll see you out there at Freedom Corner tonight, Patriots. God bless you all. This is Jericho, over and out.